This conference will now be recorded.
I'd like to call the City of New Richland Council meeting for September 23rd to order. We'll do a roll call. Everyone's here and do the pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Your agenda. Anybody have any changes? Or
Move to approve the agenda as submitted.
Second.
public comments? Does anybody have?
We have to vote.
Oh, sorry. One a little. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, now we can go to public comment.
Consent.
I'm still learning how to scroll through this thing.
Dang tab.
I know. All right, consent agenda items. Anybody have discussions?
I move to approve the consent agenda items.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, now public comment. Okay. Okay, request and presentations. Pam? No?
I'm gonna hand these out. Pass them around. I think there's enough for the board. I have some extras if anybody wants copies. First of all, thank you, Anthony, for allowing me to come. Thank you, Mayor, and council members. My name is Pam Krell. I'm actually the workforce coordinator here at the United South Central. I'm not in Wells tonight. I'm at NRHET. They said I didn't use the wrong acronym of NRHET, and used what a lot of people call it, and I correct them when I'm out there. I'm actually going on my second year as a workforce coordinator here at the school district. I was hired last year, started late October, because I came in late to the contract. My role in the school really as a workforce coordinator is to help students with career exploitation opportunities. The reason I came to the council today is just kind of introduce myself, let you guys know me. This summer I did spend a little bit of time walking around your communities, kind of getting to know some of the business owners. And one of my real focuses this year is to try and keep some of that exploitation here in your community. I come from a very small rural community, Kingston, Minnesota, just outside Dassel, Pocatello, St. Cloud. I've watched my community ever since I came home. I'm a 21-year retired military veteran, and I've just really watched my community dwindle away. People pass away, and it's not growing. So I'm really grateful and thankful to be in this community because you guys have a beautiful community. Let me tell you, I love it here. And I want to really help it grow. Last year, about 22 of your guys' students left school and went into the workforce. I'm really curious as to where they went into the workforce and can I help them explore some opportunities here in the community that they might be interested in. I did some opportunities last year for the kids we brought in called Budget City Money. So the kids were able to have a simulation, a financial simulation. And we did all the juniors last year. We're going to bring them back in again this year to do the same thing. We're going to also be bringing back the mobile health lab this year. And that gave kids a hands-on experience with some medical equipment and just some exploratory opportunities right here in the school. You'll have the Big Ideas trailer that'll be out here October 14th. And that gives them some of the trades experience this year, right here again on campus with the kids. And again, another reason to be out here is just to say, hey, if I reach out to some of your community members, a lot of these do require me to bring in individuals within the community to help support the events. Obviously, the schools are tasked because of teaching, but reaching out to some of the parents, reaching out to some of obviously the business owners, specifically when the mobile health lab comes in, reaching out to your ambulance crews, reaching out to any of the medical folks that you've got here in your communities with the care centers. I think you've got, Whispering Pines over in Ellendale, Whispering Oaks. And just getting them to come in because they are the hands-on experts. But it doesn't necessarily always need to be those folks that are hands-on, but just individuals that are, interested in taking a vested interest in our kids' growth patterns. Again, I don't have any kids. My kids are all graduated. My youngest just moved out. But I am really honored to be able to be in your guys' school district and your guys' community to bring these opportunities to your kids if you've got them over there, your grandkids if you got them over there, sisters, brothers. I know some of us are young and some of us have family members that are over there. But the two things you'll see in front of you, the first one is just kind of what my opportunities are to the school and what I do and how you guys can be involved in the school district. And then there is 2 other pages on the back of it. And what you'll see is, this is a sample of the Lake Crystal infographic that we created a couple years ago. I've been working on this this summer and connecting with some of the business owners to get folks to say, hey, this is where I'm willing to participate. So whether it's a classroom opportunity, whether it's a partnership because you've got a business in town and you're willing to let me bring students down for a tour, or if you're willing to do a job shadow, if the kids are doing a project at the school, whether it's a construction project, maybe a welding project, I know they've got some great welding stuff over here, whether they're doing CNC stuff, whether you're willing to do a donation because they've got projects going on, those are some of the other things that I'm looking for to get the community to participate in. So again, coming to City Council, you guys are here representing the city and helping make great decisions. So 2, if you're a business owner, please reach out to me and let me know if you're interested in anything. If you know there's anywhere on here that you think you can help participate, even if it's as a parent or as a grandparent coming in and helping with some of the events at school, that would be wonderful as well. And again, just to kind of introduce myself a little bit. So I'll be around your school district. I am contracted here 2 days a week. I am also over in Ellendale 1 day a month. I do EDA over in Ellendale. And then I am in the United South Central School District, again, 2 days a week. And then I do EDA and HRA over in the city of Wells. So, does anyone have any questions for me?
Maybe 2 things. As the FFA alumni president, I know we are probably looking for you as far as we're trying to do the same things as far as connecting more egg related, but obviously that would be great. So if you don't stick around, you'll be seeing an email from me. So now you know that aspect. But then 2, with the personnel changes at school with blanking on a name, leaving maybe December. Why am I? Can't think of her name now. Shoot. Hagen.
Okay.
Hagen leaving.
Okay.
Now they're trying to reallocate all those things to other staff members as far as, I guess, career development aspect. Maybe your job might pick up a little bit.
Well, so with my position currently here at the school district, I am focused on the 4 primary CTE teachers. So I probably will see you if you're at the CTE meeting this week. I'll be back over here.
Barb.
Yep, I know who you're talking about, Wrestler.
Mhm.
Barb.
Well, she was with FFA with Barb Hagen,
You're Hagen too, okay.
with her retiring or leaving or whatever.
Right, and so my primary focus really is what I'm contracted is the 4 CTE courses. I say the great thing with me being over in Ellendale and being the EDA over there, I can kind of spread my breath a little bit differently, which is kind of also the direction over in Wells as well, because I'm doing EDA in there. I look at it as our economic development starts in our school districts. That's where our communities are going to grow. I get it creating businesses. I get it bringing, rehabbing our homes and making our communities beautiful, but really seriously, we need to give our kids something to desire to stay here and showcase what we have here. So I will be spreading a little bit of that from my EDA contract over in Ellendale. I am kind of dual tasking myself when I'm there. So to be able to work a little bit out of what my scope is. So yes, in a way, but no in a way, if that is the political way to answer that for you. If they've got opportunities, I don't limit it to just the students that are in those courses. I've really tried to open everything up to students that just aren't participating in those CTE classes, because not all of our kids are in all those primary CTE classes. Just like the budget city money, that was opened up to all 11th graders. That financial planning is something they have to take for personal finances. The mobile health lab, we did all the 8th graders. We are going to do all the 8th graders again this year. When we bring in the Big Ideas trailer, again, it'll be a bunch of students from several different grades, so more than likely 8th grade through seniors that will be able to participate in that, whether they're in those core CTEs or not. So I will continue to work with the school district just to find other ways that we can participate with everything and get all those other students, encompassed into everything.
Okay.
I'm just kidding. But I thank you again for letting me come, you guys.
Thank you.
Again, you have a wonderful community. I am truly blessed to be here and be able to be part of you guys' school district. So thank you.
Thanks.
Bob's our care center administrator too, so you might
I
want
know,
to
I
touch
already
base.
grabbed Bob.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm waiting for an email back from Bob too.
And I was gone last week, I apologize.
If anybody else is interested, I will leave them. I've still got more, so definitely help yourself. But I am going to dismiss myself. I'm about an hour and 15 minutes from here. So
Thanks,
Okay,
Pam.
thanks.
Thanks.
you're welcome. Thank you very much.
You can skip all that resolution.
Okay. All right, so we are going to department reports?
Yep.
Care Center, You're up.
Oh. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Another beautiful day here in Richland.
Mhm.
As you can see, in the operations portion of the book, of this form here, our average census in August was 40.71. It is the best it's been in almost a dozen years. It's awesome. Sadly, however, today it is at 37. The reason being is that we have taken on a lot of short-term people, and when you do that, it's in a revolving door. Well, some of those people went home, and I've got about 4 more right on the edge of the doorstep, ready to bolt. So Jess has been working diligently and trying, looking at new folks to come into the nursing home. We get referrals on a regular basis. The month of August, we had 43 referrals. We admitted 10. We accepted several more than that. But we declined a whole pile of them for delirium, memory care, drug abuse, violent tendencies, things like that. And they're onesie twosies. A lot of them are younger people, under the age of 60. That we'd love to help you out, but we're really not the placement for you in those cases. But so if you look at that, we did have in August 8 discharged. 3 went home, 3 passed away, and 2 moved to assisted living. Very positive in that respect. Financials, I didn't have anything at the time, but I got them back today. Total operating income for the month of August was $30,000 and some change. That was, again, greatly due to the fact that our college girls, high school girls were here. Sadly, they are back at college. We wish them well, but they saved us a chunk of change, and they did much better. I shouldn't say that, but they do much better work than the agency staff because they know our community. They have a stake in our community. So we really appreciate all the work that they did while they were here, and we look forward to the holidays when they come back. Some of that other stuff there, I must have not erased that. Sorry, apologize for that. Agency staff, as you see in July, went down to $54,000, which is very good for us. It is now, it's back up to almost 90,000 in August, and it'll be well over 120,000 in September. I did meet with the advisory board today. We did approve a preliminary budget for 2025 with a standard 3% increase in every department for supplies and food and this, that, and the other thing, wages at this point. I'm hoping to make a change to the wage scale, try to get ahead of the state of Minnesota that is trying to change the wage scale without having any income in return. That would be very difficult for us to do. The governor has created a Department of Wage and Labor for the nursing home, period. The nursing homes. That's it. That's all they're looking at. And they're looking at changing the minimum wages and increasing them in great levels. One of the greatest increases they're looking at is almost 58% for one particular group of people. Non-direct care.
Non-direct?
Non-direct care. Direct care, we're looking at increases of 34%, 21% in a couple of areas. And I have no idea if they don't have the capability to push for an increase in revenue or an increase in reimbursement for us. I don't know how they can make us increase the wage. I mean, not saying people don't deserve it. It's just that we can't afford to do that, especially with the numbers that the feds want us to put in. Okay? We got so many residents, they want us to have so many staff members on the floor. Well, if the state of Minnesota says I'm gonna pay these staff members X amount of dollars as a bare wage, what am I gonna do with somebody with 25 years experience?
Have they broached the 32-hour work week yet?
No, we're still, they haven't really touched that. That's the overview. They don't even want to bother with that. They're looking at trying to make what they consider a livable wage, and I would find it hard to live at that wage. I did find it hard not too long ago to live at that wage with 3 kids. It was very difficult. It's just something that people, you learn to do what you have to do. You don't get all the toys sometimes. But, so we're trying to make it better. I'm trying to come up with a game plan because the state is looking at the year 2026 to implement that. I am looking at trying to implement at least part of it this year. Don't print that in the paper because I don't want every other community to get this idea. But I want to I don't want to have to play catch up with a huge number of dollars in the year that they might actually give us reimbursement. I want to reimburse people this year, get ahead of everybody else so that people want to work for us. We want to be the lead dog in this sled race. And that's what I'm pushing for. I just haven't made the numbers work yet. So I'm kind of working on that. The board and I will talk about that again in October, probably November, so that we can get something figured out for the first of the year. Trying to make it better for the people who work for us, a little more affordable for them. Anything to help. So that's a big piece of what we're looking at. But right now, standard increase that we've had in the past, not nearly enough, but it's a preliminary budget, so that's what we've done. Staffing, like I said, all our college gals have gone back to school. I wish them well and look forward to seeing them soon. High school girls, we've got several, and they are and I think all of them are in the post-secondary program. They are fantastic. They work when they can. Some of them work a lot more than other people, other kids that age, simply because I'm going to go on a trip. Well, I got to make all the money I can now because next summer I'm going to be on this trip and I'm not going to be here. Like, okay, that's great planning on your part. So then, of course, I give them no end of business about you're going to New Guinea on a trip. Oh yeah, never been out of the country. Openings. We're always looking for certified nurse aides. We're always looking for RNs and LPNs. If you know somebody, please send them our way. We're a good group of people to work with. You may not get the highest pay. You're not going to meet hospital standards by any means, but nobody's got the depth of pockets that the hospital's got, or the politics that the hospital's got, or the cutting hours that the hospital does to you, so we're better than that. Put that in the paper. Other business, we have a new beautician starting in September. I'm a little lost for her name right now. She will be there a couple days a week, and looking forward to that. We are reviewing an employee-funded savings program for staff, enabling them to take out more of their pre-tax contributions to put into their overall savings. This was a great plan that I had. I might be a little selfish because I'm old and, well, I made a lot of bad choices in life. And I thought, we got to look at this. This would be great for me. This would be great for everybody. Everybody should do this. We listened to the spiel online, and the guy asked me, he said, what do you got, 50 people that take part in this? And I looked at Lindsay, and she's like, Like, 20? how many? You're it. Really? And there's a cost, of course, to start it. There's always something, you know, as part of the program to create this. And the guy says, Bob, it's just not feasible. I can't charge you $4,500 a month if you're the one that's going. Well, it's good because I wouldn't be putting that much into it. But I tried. I'm not completely done yet. I'm going to do some investigating and see how we can do it better. They all deserve the chance to get more education on their finances.
What type of program was that, Bob?
It was through IntelliSense with Lynn.
Was that like a deferred
You could-
type program, or?
You could build your own 401k.
So we have nationwide here, same type program's already done and established.
Can they piggyback off that?
We already have a fund set up for the care center.
Well, see, there we go.
Because we do of course, the pair.
But we've already got a nationwide fund set up, and I've got a city fund
That's
and a care
perfect.
center fund, so we should
Okay.
talk.
Yes. I will visit you this week.
Yes.
If you're here.
I will not be here Wednesday, but I'll be here the other days.
Awesome. Nation. Okay. That is great to hear. And then, of course, the last thing I got on the list is, you know, residents have been on bus rides and trishaw rides. Now it's been dry and nice out, not quite as hot. Everybody enjoys that. And we are looking at the potential to be in the homecoming parade with the trishaw and just the king and the queen. Our king and queen. School bus will have their own king and queen. We'll have a king and queen as well. When Sprinkles coming to our center tomorrow to serve ice cream to the residents and the staff. So anybody that wants to come down and buy ice cream from Sprinkles, they'll be there from 1 to 3. It's a fantastic lady, and her band is named Sprinkles.
All right.
Any questions?
No,
Rambled on a lot, sorry.
you're fine. Thank you.
Thank you.
I move to accept the Richland Care Center report.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it,
Ron.
Bob. Thanks, Bob.
All right, Shell, you're up.
Okay. I have to read it off there.
Are they gonna have Shell, or?
Yeah. Thank you. Don't need my glasses. Let's see, August. Yeah, we had a little bit of rain, just a little, didn't make a big mess. I was happy about that. The creek is very low, so nothing's coming in right now. So that's a good thing. Checking for extra tile lines in the creek. So tomorrow, Wednesday, I'll be walking the creek, looking for the abandoned manholes that are out there. And I did hear some of the bank fall in on the other end the other day. It was pretty loud and intense. So just telling you. I don't know if I can't see down there, there's too many weeds. So some of that bank might be caving in down there.
Down by the plant or?
Yeah, when you go to say you're at my plant and you're looking at the creek, it would be just west of my discharge station out there. It was pretty loud. It was pretty crazy. It was like where all the field is coming down that, you know, when it gets washed out and then it goes over, that's where it was at. So I don't know. Just we have to keep an eye on that. Yeah, updated all the emergency numbers. I got all them done. I replaced that effluent sampler refrigerator sled, slick as ever. Slid right in, did the wiring, no tech needed. So works like a champ.
Good.
So, yeah. Yes, I will have information coming on the smart salting. Be hanging that up. How much salt to use on our sidewalks and don't overdo it and so forth. I know.
That's
As
a
long as-
requirement of our chloride variance from the
Yes.
state.
Is that going in our newsletter or where do we post that?
Yeah, we'll probably put a snippet in our newsletter for
Yeah,
probably
just a
October,
little
November.
paragraph about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just some people don't understand. You just don't dump it out there, and if the weather's a certain temperature, it's not gonna work anyways.
Right.
You
Right.
know, it's
good to just watch it. Over at the care center, they're redoing the sewer line. They're slip lining it.
Yep.
They're gonna start slip lining in the morning. I'm gonna be over there because
Wonderful.
I gotta see it in action.
Oh, yeah.
So
Mhm.
they did find a couple of storm lines that were hooked to their sewer,
Mhm.
which was bringing in just water. So those will not be cut out in the slip line. So don't know where they go. They were one was in backwards anyways. So kind of didn't probably work for them very well.
Hmm.
So those won't be cut into it. And then, so with that, extra water will be gone. And then the manhole cover that I plugged with the plugs, and that brought in a lot of water down there by the creek. So little by little, we're getting rid of more and more extra water. But we will have to send the thing out before spring on sump pumps.
If you're getting rid of the water or plugging things, where's that water going then?
It should be going to their yards.
More the creek or we're
Not
supposed to
the
go.
So
there.
it's just gonna absorb into the land?
Yep, I mean, you don't wanna stick it in your neighbor's yard,
No,
but
I
you know,
understand that.
you
Okay.
wanna
All these,
make it,
all these little things are getting rid of the I&I that's making its way into the storm sewer system.
yes, and we're saving on so much more. But we will have to send the thing out for sump pumps. And if there's sump pumps are in the sewer, they need to be removed. It is illegal, so. And every little bit of that we can get out of the system, the way better it's gonna be.
Yep.
So yeah, little by little, we're getting there. Yes. Otherwise, not a whole lot going on, getting ready to land a fly, so here in a few weeks, as soon as the beans get out, so samples are done and we'll be ready. Everything's doing really good out there though, guys. All of the samples are coming out awesome. So yeah. And we're all the work orders. There's a lot. And that's it. Any questions?
Anything that you're seeing that needs to be repaired or anything before winter?
I'm changed all the oils this month and everything, pretty much. So, not that I noticed, I picked up a few parts today of a few items that need to be repaired, but
Nothing major?
nothing major.
Yeah.
Why I shouldn't have said that.
Youngster.
I know.
Your first volunteer.
Yeah, I usually am the first one that comes out there.
She usually is. So yeah, otherwise, not a whole lot that I see. I mean, we're gonna have to sit down maybe and, I know I have my old list of things that, yeah, Minnesota Pump will be here next Wednesday and Thursday to do all 3 lift stations to pull the pumps. They do a yearly inspection every year. And, cause you have 1 pump out of each lift station not working. So, we're running on threads. So, more than likely there's something in it, a lot of times plastic bag, sticks, rocks, oddball things.
So when they pull them, they check that to see if they get them working
Yeah,
again?
we pull them straight out and it's like a propeller in there. So when you unbolt it all and we bring that propeller, we can tell how much wear it's had and how many years or how much time it might have left. And then they change they all have oils. So change all the oils, check them all out and make sure that they're good to go. I mean, they should last well as long as they're taken care of and we don't have all them plastic bags and items and junk in our sewer. So those 2 lifts, they don't pull a lot on those streets, but they really do, because without them, you'd be flooding some people, so, yeah. Well, that's about it.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
Move to accept the people service report.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thanks, guys.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
y'all.
Street and maintenance report?
Yeah, Eric couldn't attend tonight, so,
Yep.
this is in writing, but basically 12 moon cars, no shut-offs. Legion Field shut down, the signal place shut down, hydrants are flushed. All the fire extinguishers were serviced for the whole city. Doverstein was out and cleared out those ponds that we approved earlier in the year for the, out in the subdivision. They were having some issues with some people noticing some brown water. So they changed the backflush on the water plants and shocked the filter, and we seem to have fixed that problem, so that should have taken care of that. They did go through town and clean some branches and sign interference. There is getting some, through the insurance claim with the League of Minnesota Cities from the flood, should get some new mulch at the city park, and they're getting the sweeper ready, and Eric's gonna try to burn the dump before the end of the week. I think that's pretty much all he's got for this one.
So I've got a question. When they talked about cleaning out or branches around some of the signs, I've noticed as I go through town on the street signs, some of them are like this and some of them are like
The
this.
signs themselves,
Yes.
if you notice something, let me know, and then I'll put it on a list.
I mean, I'd say it's
Some of them are ours and some of them are the counties,
it's
so
probably 10 or 15 if you really look.
yeah, let us know.
Okay, cool. I'll do that.
Sometimes if you're not looking for them, if you're not paying attention, if you're looking that way when you just don't see them, so.
Well, it's just like I didn't see the outside of sound sign.
Yeah. So if you see something like that, just call and let Heather and I know, and we'll get it to the guys to
Sure.
check on.
Sounds
check
good.
on.
Move to accept the maintenance report.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, unfinished business.
So just a quick note on the storm sewer fund. I did some talking with a few of the other administrators around the area, and I think the best way to do this is through putting it into our city code, codifying it through ordinances. I just think that's the best way to do it. So I'm gonna have it ready for the next meeting to see what that looks like as part of the code, what that ordinance would look like, and then what that storm sewer code would look like. And we can talk about it at that time, and then we would use the next meeting as the first reading and then a public hearing and then go through that process. So that's just kind of, I think, how we should handle it. I think it's just the most clean way to do it, and I think it gives everybody the opportunity to make that comment that needs to make that comment. But I do think there is a need to have that codified into our ordinances, so. But I just wanted to keep you guys abreast of what was going on.
Are you looking at, for the storm sewer fee-based charge there, is it gonna be the same price for residential and commercial, or is it different for commercial? Or are you not really sure yet?
That would be up to you guys, what do you want to do? So the way so I've been talking with Clinton about it because Janesville has it set up pretty nice, but they've actually got it broken down onto the size of lots.
Okay,
As far as, if lot sizes, a residential acre or less is one price, acre or more. And then I think they've got actually like 3 different sizes for lots of residential lots and then a commercial price. I don't know how much work we want to get into trying to figure that all out, or if we want to just do a residential lot price and a commercial lot price. But then one could argue that if somebody's only got a tiny little house, why they should be charged the same price as somebody that's got 3 lots put together, too. So, I guess why reinvent the wheel if we think that Janesville ordinance looks like a very good ordinance? Why would we not adopt something similar that looks like that? So I think what I'll do is I'll put together what I think looks good, and we'll put that on the next agenda to kind of look at and do as kind of a first reading. And if that looks good to you guys, we'll kind of run with that and kind of go from there.
And you said it's also going to be public input, right?
Yeah, well, we have to have a public
Probably,
hearing
I
on
mean,
it, yeah, because it's gonna be a new.
Questions, I'm sure, are going to be pulled up.
Yeah, it's gonna be a new ordinance, so there'll have to be a public hearing on it, so. Yeah, so that's all I got on that.
I did do some research on it, and I
Oh,
pulled the
you got it.
ordinance from Janesville, and then I have a couple friends that live in Janesville, and so just kind of an idea. Her house is 0.38 acres, and that is in the class 1 rate because it is residential 0 to 0.9 acres. She pays $13
Yeah.
a month.
It's $13 is their minimum charge. For
Yeah,
storm sewer.
and then if you want to, there's a breakdown, there's a class 2, 3,
Yeah.
4, and it goes up from there. But I do agree, it definitely needs to be written into the
And
code,
that-
and it's very organized.
That is different than your water and sewer charge.
That's an additional
This is just
district.
storm sewer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you'll have your water enterprise fund, your sewer enterprise fund, and your storm sewer
Well, then
enterprise
that
fund.
helps build up a fund for that storm sewer stuff.
Yeah, and like I said before, like, so basically when you go to, like, when we were talking about our street project for next year, now instead of just breaking it between those two funds, now you're breaking it into 3 funds, because now you're talking about your sanitary sewer fund pays for a portion of that as well.
And it's based on usage,
Right, exactly.
which is fair.
You're breaking it into usage, yeah, exactly. So, yeah, so that's, I think that's the way you wanna go, and we don't have to go, I mean, 13, I think 13 is a little,
I would be,
that's a little, I mean, it's a lot. I mean,
Yeah.
the way that I figured it out is the 30,000 that is our hook for the reclamation or what's the word? That's not the right word, but the ditch project. If we broke that up between our residents, it would be $5 a
I was
month. Would get us back to
say something like
would
that.
get us back
To
to
zero.
paying for that to
That'd be a
zero.
lot better than 13.
Would be zero.
Better than 13.
So we basically take in 1 year to pay the county, and then the next year we'd have 30 grand into that storm sewer fund. You know, if that's the way the council wants.
And it's also adjustable if we need to be.
Yeah, it'd be no different than the storm sewer fund. We could move that up or down, or depending on. I mean, if it's 5 and we go for 10 years and don't spend anything out of it, you
That's
can go
right.
down to 2, and then
Yep.
and balance that fund
Yep,
out.
makes sense.
So,
Go.
yeah. Good. Any more questions on that? So the hydrology study, we got the final, not the final, but the draft final report done. And the county, Chris Howard and myself and the county met with Joel Lewis from Houston and had to clean up a few things along the study. So there were a few minor issues that we had to work out, but the plan is to present that to the council and to the community at a community event probably in October. So that'll be basically to present the findings of the study, to show the community the options of the study, what's available to the community, what Houston's recommendations to the community are, and things like that. So I think the plan is probably towards the end of October, but I will know more next week when I meet with them again to try to dial in some times for their information. So
And they will come here to present their findings?
I'm going to tell them that would be my recommendation, that they come in person and do that. My concern is I don't necessarily know that this is a big enough. I don't know if the community room is necessarily a big enough venue for that. I don't know.
It could be, yeah.
Depending
not.
Just
depending on
depends
how
on-
many people show up. I don't know. 5 people could show up, or this could bring a lot.
Well, I remember the last time it wasn't too full in there, but it was full.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, but I guess, would you prefer him to make a report to you guys prior to that community meeting?
I think so.
I would like to review it
Yes.
before.
Okay.
So we have a little bit of time to think about questions.
Okay. Well, and I think that,
Be blank.
yeah, I don't think that, yeah.
It's gonna be a lot of information.
I was thinking that I was leaning more towards that this was just gonna be a non-council meeting. This is just gonna be just a Houston presentation to the community with no council meeting attached to it. That this
Oh,
is just
yeah,
gonna
but
be-
I would
No,
still-
I know what you're saying. But, yeah, this was just gonna be strictly questions for him and not for the elected representation of the city at this time.
'Cause, I mean, I can think on my feet, but I don't wanna have to think on
Yeah.
my feet
Yeah.
because they're behind me.
Yeah.
With
Yeah.
pitchforks.
So, yeah. All right. Well, I'll ask him because he probably won't come here, but he'd be able to zoom in on the call. So I'll put him on the agenda for the next meeting.
Yeah, you almost have to, time-wise.
Okay.
We don't need any action on it.
Okay. New business?
I tried to edit the PDF and add comments to anything that I possibly could find that was possible.
Right.
So I added a bunch of stuff in there, so I don't know if you have questions on anything this time.
I did, but I forgot.
The ones for those individuals, that I take it those are the election judges, is mileage and wages?
Correct.
Combined?
Yes.
So to say someone get a lot of mileage, they live in town.
Yeah, that's gotta be the federally reimbursed mileage.
I understand. Anyone have any questions on the check registry?
I don't. No, neither.
So I make a motion, we approve the August 2024 check register.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
August 24 financials? Anybody have questions on that? I thought it was pretty explanatory.
Move to approve August 2024 financials.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Ordinance updated codification?
So I know that's for sure Jason and Jody. I don't know if you were on here when we've talked about this in the past, but we have not had a update, I don't think, on the ordinances. It's probably been 2015 or 2018 since they've actually been updated completely online. So
Yeah,
I was gonna say that.
so I did reach out, and we did, I think a year ago or 2 years ago, we did talk about it, and then we just decided to wait at that time. So I did reach out again to ask, because we do have, it is time we do it, and I thought that while we're going through the storm sewer process, it's probably a good time that we
Once that's done,
would,
yeah.
right, to do it all at one time. So, so I sent him everything that we've done since the last time we've had this put together. And he said that the process to bring those into the current thing and then spit out the product is anywhere from $1,600 to $2,100. So that's just basically taking our current stuff, taking the ordinances that have been passed since he put that together, and then basically spitting out a Word document with all that back together again to us. And then going through that, he looked at our stuff, and a lot of our stuff is really out of date. The language is out of date. It looks out of date. And so he said, I know the cost is a little bit more steep, but he said you might want to look at recodification. So I asked him, I said, well, what's the cost to recodify? And so he said, well, $62.75 is what it would cost to actually recodify. So that would be to take our whole ordinance book, redo everything, re-look at it, put all the new stuff together, redraft everything, and put it all back as nice, clean, crisp language, and do that. So then I asked him, I said, we also want to put the ordinances online. And so like right now, our ordinances are online, but they're basically just a PDF of our ordinances or a Word document of our ordinances. To put them online with them, they would actually be searchable PDFs like the city of Waseca has or any of the other places have, where you can actually click and actually look at stuff. So it's a one-time fee of $595, and then the annual hosting is $550 per year. So then I said, I got kind of cute, and I said, well, if we were to codify, would you throw in the online for free? So he said, I can't throw in the one-time fee, but he said, if you would recodify with us, I'd give you the year for free. So,
Next year or this year?
well, so long story short, I think I think if we're gonna do it, if you're looking at the way I see it is, he's not gonna charge us $1,600. It's gonna cost us probably $2,100 to do it if you're thinking about it in layman's terms. So between $6,200 and $2,100 is only $4,000 difference. So I think if you're gonna do it, it probably makes more sense to go the whole thing and get it all crisp and clean and done the right way. The nice thing about it is the recodification process, 10% down, 60% on the draft, and the remainder on the completion. We still have $1,800 left in the budget this year for ordinances. So, I mean, we could pay the 10% down. We could actually pay, more than the 10% down, and then, use the rest out of the next year's budget to cover almost the rest of the costs for that process, if that's the way that you want it to go on.
Did you talk to him about, say that if we were doing all this, and as we were looking through them, updating stuff that needs to be updated, or could we create new ones if we thought we needed new ones?
They will look at the language, and if there's language that's not, if they think there's language that's not correct, they will highlight that language, and then they will work with our attorney to see if that language is something that we want or not.
Would they look at some to say we're missing something and we actually have to have a new one?
They will. There's a whole packet that he sent me with stuff, but they will take their base package and compare it to what we have and make recommendations for things like that. And they will also, if they see something in our package that they just are like, they'll flag it for us.
Or if we're missing something completely?
Maybe. I guess I could make that request.
That's what I would think. Because what if we are missing something that we need to?
Yeah. So, I don't know. I just think that being that we could potentially use the budget from this year and next year to make this work, I think it makes sense to think about.
This would also, updating this will help with the Disabilities Act of having websites compliant.
I didn't think about that point, but you're.
Because that's the
make
thing
a very
that's
good
coming
point.
down to it too, that eventually websites have to be where somebody that's hard of hearing, or they have to have all it so they can read it to them. So does that count? Will this?
Well, it would be
part of it?
accessibility because, I mean, any searchable PDF or anything like that can be read by a PDF reader.
Yeah, because I know there's certain deadlines with that for websites to be done by. Yeah.
So,
So do you need a motion for us to approve that
oh,
tonight?
yeah,
or-
and then I need to know if you want the recodification and the online hosting or just the recodification, and then how you want to pay for it, or.
Well,
I think the way you described it's a pretty good way of taking care of it.
I think we have to do all of it because of the fact we're gonna eventually have to pay for it anyway, and why pay some now and then have to pay more later to make sure it's all up to compliance? But we could split it up partly for this year and then for next year too.
Any idea how long you take them? Did you guesstimate if you record it? So if we're spending the 1,800,
It won't be done.
this
I don't
year,
think it'll be done this year.
which is fine because then
Yeah, I would say, well, what is it, September? I would say
maybe not in a rush, but
a couple months for the draft,
It'll
and
work
then I
out
would
that
say,
Might be in effect by January sometime,
Probably longer than that.
longer than that.
I would think.
because I would assume, yeah, I mean, they've done our stuff, so they have most of our stuff, and it would be a matter of them getting the new stuff to them, which he's got most of it. But then they would have to get everything. I mean, if they're just doing the update part, I would say it's probably a 2-month turnaround, but the recodification is going to be significant more time than that. So.
I make a motion that we go with the proposal you had written down there, and just how you explained it.
Out of the ordinance budget?
Yes, that $1,800.
I'll second that.
Can I just get clarification from you, Mr. Casey? Is that for the recodification only, or is that
No.
from the online as well?
It was a recodification and then the online, $1,800 to do that, 10% down and 6%.
Did we have a second? All in
Already
favor?
seconded.
Okay, I didn't hear
That's
you.
all right.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. So, 2025 preliminary budget, we don't have anything.
Yeah, we do.
We do?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
yeah.
that's- yeah.
You want to
So-
talk about that now?
Yep, yeah, we can go there. So basically what we talked about was where we kind of sort of left it at was that we would sit,
16.
yeah, so basically, you know, I did reach out and I still don't have the health insurance numbers did you get updated health insurance numbers yet?
No, and October.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I just don't, I'm still not sure where things are gonna be for sure. And I know that we're all planning to be at that 7 to 9, hopefully. And I think that's where we're going and I'm fairly confident that we'll get there. But we have a little bit of work and shaping to do. And I'm confident that we can get there. But I think that it's a good plan for us to set our preliminary a little bit higher to give us the time and the ability to work and make sure that we're doing the right thing so that no surprises come up in the meantime. Obviously, as everybody knows, we can go down, we can't go up. So if we do have a big surprise come up and we don't have the ability to cover it, we kind of bite ourselves in the butt. So basically what we did is I looked at all of our wish lists, put them together, all of our revenue streams and everything else. I did knock a little bit off of our wish list for the capital spending. I know that Jody had talked about maybe spending down some of our orders from last year, and where that kind of laid us out for preliminary is on this last page here. Is at the 16.21. So I know we were thinking 17-ish is kind of sort of we wanted to kind of sort of start. I played around in a little bit more, and I just kind of felt a little uncomfortable going a little lower than that preliminary. Especially not having those insurance numbers. I just don't know.
Mhm.
I just don't know.
It's too hard
You
with
know?
not knowing.
I don't know. I just don't know. So I'm fairly confident we're gonna be at 7 to 9. I maybe we can get more. But I think this is where we need to start with preliminary to get to that point.
There's some numbers that I don't like, so just,
There are some that are higher that,
yeah, that are, one I'd like to point out is ambulance revenue.
Yeah, and then that's one of those numbers, Jody, which is why I want to be here, because I agree with you. That's a number we have to really take a close look at. But that's one of those numbers that the problem with that number is if that revenue number goes down, then we have to add that number onto the tax revenue, and that brings that number up. And that's why that I agree with your statement on that, and that's why I don't feel comfortable going any lower than that 16% at the moment. Because I agree, we need to take a much closer look at those ambulance numbers. I agree with you 100%.
Yeah, that one really stood out
mhm.
when I was looking through this.
And that being said, I think it's also imperative that the council takes a look at that ambulance contract again and says, are we really getting out of that contract what we were sold out of that contract?
You're talking about the bill,
Yeah.
billing
Yeah.
contract.
Because I don't necessarily know that we are.
That's true. I don't know if they've had the runs, that they projected like they did last year. I don't think they've had
Well,
as many runs, which is a good thing, I guess.
I want to say, and I don't quote me on this, but when I talked to Sarah Joe initially, when the council was talking about going to this billing provider, they were pitching a number that they were so many percentage, they were getting so much percentages of return on the billings, and Sarah Joe was getting within like 0.1% of what they were getting. So I don't necessarily understand why the decision was made to go in that direction.
Was part of it because there were so many claims that were outstanding?
No, I think there was some concern over time spent on ambulance billing and job responsibilities and
And I think with the office turmoil at the time had something to do with it too.
I think so too.
Problem with write-offs too. Because they were saying.
We still wrote off
still-
almost 40-some thousand.
Right, but they were
40
saying.
or 50,000
they could
last
do
year.
less write-offs, is what that place is gonna say.
But I don't think they're writing off any less
Correct, my
than,
point.
yeah,
Yep.
I don't think they're writing off any less than we were writing off when we were doing the billing ourselves.
But we didn't know that at the time.
So, but that's why I think that, I think that this is where we kind of need to be at the moment. So, and I think that maybe next meeting, we should just take the ambulance budget itself and I can bring the last 3 years' budgets and we can look at that pretty close, and I can get billing numbers from the last 2 years that Expertise had that and kind of look at. And maybe I'll even reach out to Lane at Abdo and see if he's got any,
Suggestions?
yeah, or if he's got a closer window into what he's seeing about. Because he's the one that, he's the one that helps us with the journal entries for writing all that stuff off too, and he sees that a little closer than I do,
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think our chart, and the problem is that, we bill one price, but Medicare only pays what they pay. So even if our services are worth $3,500, Medicare tells us, no, your services are worth $2,000.
Well, then we should be billing what Medicare pays.
But you have to bill the same price
Right,
for all
everybody.
entities.
Right,
Yep.
that's right.
Yeah.
Then we
So,
would be
and-
losing money.
And the problem is if we still have to pay. I mean, if Brandy and Ryan go on the call, I still have to pay Brandy and Ryan to be on the call. It doesn't matter if you pay $1,000 and I pay $2,500. I still got to pay them for being on the call, and I still got to pay gas for the rig, and I still got to pay for the supplies, and I still got to pay for everything else.
Well, we can have that if they go and don't transport them anywhere as well. Because is there a fee for if they get dispatched out?
There's no transport.
transport.
No transport fee.
Mhm. Yeah, and that's another thing too. Is maybe yeah. Well, and maybe the billables need to be a little higher on our non-Medicare transports to kind of offset the cost of the Medicare transport. I guess I don't know. Our rates have always been, historically, whatever's been Medicare approved, just because, but maybe that's not how we need to run anymore. Maybe we need to run higher, but I don't know. I don't bill that stuff, so I don't know and maybe I should invite Mark to be a part of this conversation.
Mark would be a good one. I'd hate to increase fees just because of that, and then somebody decide not to call for help because they know they're gonna have to pay more out of pocket because their insurance isn't gonna cover it, the difference. But
It's a tough conversation.
It's
But
a
at the
tough
same
conversation.
time, it's one of those things too, is
Oh.
like, is it worth, I mean, eventually we're gonna get to a point where
You won't have a
can we
service.
afford
Right.
the ambulance?
Right.
right,
And then it doesn't matter if you call them, it's not there.
Well, the state money is supposedly gonna help some, but how much,
Yeah, but
But also-
that's another one-time thing.
that's
Right.
it's a one-time thing, and
Other things.
we have equipment that needs to be replaced too, that can help with.
right?
So anyway, if you are okay with that, there's a resolution that I've presented, resolution 24-17 that adopts that schedule. If you so are inclined, if you adopt that resolution, then I will forward that on to the county, which will go out And that resolution proposes the preliminary that we talked about and then sets the truth and taxation hearing for December 9th
2419.
Yeah.
at 6:35 PM.
I just want to make sure.
I move that we adopt resolution 2417, preliminary budget.
So it's 2419, sorry, I have it wrong on the agenda.
Is it 17 or 18?
19, sorry, I have it wrong on the agenda.
Second.
All in favor?
Yeah.
All right. Miscellaneous work session.
Just a reminder that tomorrow is the work session for the 2025 street projects at 6:35 for Jason's request.
Can I make a motion to change the time?
Okay, sorry, fans.
All right.
wondered.
Administrators report.
Working on the property and casualty renewal in the city. Obviously working on the budget. Continue conversation with Bolton and Macon on street improvements. Work with Houston on the hydrology study. Finishing up some claims for the flood insurance or the flood claim. Complete performance reviews. Finalize some conversations with Thompson Sanitation and Waste Management on that single hauler contract items. They're both working on their finalized RFPs. Council tablets and technology, and then continue working on street improvement projects. Play anniversaries, Chief Brugger's been here for 6 years on the 24th, tomorrow. Kate Bannon of PD has been here for a year on the 9th of October. And Mitch with the ambulance will be here for a year on the 10th of October. That's what I got for you.
For the claims that you're working on, is that one of them the playground?
One of them is the playground, yeah.
All right.
Move to accept the city administrator's report.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any council? Any comments?
I got one. I want to make sure you voted nay on that.
Yeah.
Budget. Yeah, okay. Thank you.
Okay.
I do have a question about, you were gonna present, like more information for the stormwater fund. Will you have like the bylaws already written up by next month, kind of what, or the ordinance codes, so that we can review them?
Yeah, the full ordinance will be ready.
And then will you have like specific amounts that we're gonna look at, or are we going to
That'll be,
decide that?
well, that's, I
down
mean,
the
if
road?
you are, is everybody okay with just like 5 or, well, it'll be set by, what's the word I'm looking for?
Property size, if we
yes,
go that
that's
route, or
the-
It'll be set by the, this thing.
Acreage?
How many acres each residential?
Impervious.
The fee schedule.
Oh, gotcha.
Like,
Set by
what are
the
you
city
trying
fee
to-
schedule. So it'll be set by the city fee schedule.
And then we just gotta discuss what we want to change.
Yeah, so basically, it won't say the amounts, it'll say what each parcel is, small, medium, large, whatever, and then in the city fee schedule, it'll be broken down. Like it'll be similar to this, where it'll show charge for city services, and then it'll say small parcel, big parcel, large parcel, and then we adopt the price for each parcel.
That's so we don't have to change the ordinance every time.
Yeah, so you just change the price of whatever so that's how it'll work out.
Okay.
Yeah.
But that'll all be next month, and then you said a workshop after, or
It'll be,
afterwards?
yeah, well, we'll kind of handle it like a first reading, and then there'll be a public hearing the following meeting. Assuming that you guys don't want anything changed from what's presented at the next meeting. If there's changes, then
It gets
we would
pushed
get
back.
changed, and then it'd be pushed back one.
I move to adjourn.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.